I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remind me to please silence your electronic devices. That would be appreciated. I call the September 1, 2015 Board of Trustees meeting to order. Roll call, Mr. Uphel.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carvel.
Here.
Mr. Deshays.
Here.
Mr. Levere. Here. I am here. Entertain a motion to open the public hearing for tobacco control policy. Mr. Carvel, second by Mr. Deshays. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is open, folks. This is a public hearing regarding local law to establish tobacco control policy. Take public opinion on this issue. As always, we would ask you to please stand and state your name for the record. Any public comment? Sir?
Yeah, in regards to 204 East Orvis Street and the demolition.
Okay, sir, that comes a little bit later in the agenda. This right now is regarding
Okay.
specific thing.
I just want to.
I'll give you plenty of time to talk on that, though. Okay? Public comment on this? Hearing none, trustees? It's long overdue.
Yep.
I've been over there a few times and walking into the building, people standing outside smoking cigarettes. You gotta walk through that smoke to go inside, lots of people come back outside.
Just a comment that you go downstairs as you clean the building, and there's a little thing, put your butts in right outside the hall, way outside. I read this thing here, we're supposed to be at least 25 feet away from any building that we own property over.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's gotta go, that's gotta go.
That's correct. They'll have to be moved.
Now, I hope they just don't throw the butts up in the middle of the road. You know what I'm saying? We may have to put a couple officers on guard for a while till they get mad. No, it's well overdue, well overdue. Yep.
Entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Mr. Levere, second by Mr. Carville. All those in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Hearing is closed. Proposed resolution to adopt local law, establish tobacco control policy. Moved by Mr. Levere, second by Mr. Deshays. Further discussion? Poll individually. Mr. Uphel?
Aye.
Mr. Carville?
Aye.
Mr. Deshays?
Aye.
Mr. Levere? Aye. Resolution carries. Approval of meeting minutes for July 21st, 2015. Mr. Carville. Second by Mr. Levere. Discussion, additions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Reports of officers and committees. Code enforcement, Mr. Carville, Mr. Levere.
Got a meeting coming up with code. We're going to continue the dialogue on vacant buildings, seeing what we can do without impacting those who are maintaining the vacant buildings properly. So really trying to examine some options that will assist code but not put any unnecessary burden financially or otherwise on any homeowners that are doing that. So I'll keep you guys updated.
I received from code today's an updated list, 156 vacant, I'll get a copy to you guys, 156 vacant residential properties, 63 vacant commercial properties, and 12 vacant properties that are controlled by the county. So that's 232 vacant properties that we know of, determined to be vacant. Oscar, could you give us a quick update on 204 East Orvis Street, and then we'll allow Mr. Tyler to speak?
Absolutely. 204 East Orvis Street, and I did send out requests for costs to demolish the building. We received one proposal already. I have two more coming in. Unfortunately, because of the hazard mitigation, they had to reach out to other contractors to take a look at that. So I was just waiting for
here?
Yeah.
With your address, sir, regarding your property to service.
Well, this has been going on with this insurance company since 2012, and back in June 10th, I got a notice from my lawyer that we finally got a trial date over in Canton. Was moved from January 25th, 16 to February 22nd. And at that point, I'll be able to get some estimates on repairing the damage. And I got this to show you if you need to see it.
Mr. Taylor, could you clarify that for me? So the trial date is for, are you suing your insurance company to try to
Yeah,
resolve?
I have to because I had replacement costs, and that estimate came to $185,000. Contents and then living expenses, but they only offered $35,000, and that's not anywhere near adequate to repair that. You need to see it in the paperwork?
Is that anything that you would have presented previously?
I was here January,
There was a court date
and they changed it on me. I was here for it, and then they changed it.
in Canton.
No, it was here. Supposed to be here. It was a religious holiday, and they never notified me. It was the 3rd of April, or I think it was April 3rd.
I'm a little confused because we went to Supreme Court and we have a decision from Judge Demarest giving us authority to proceed on the property. Apparently you didn't appear at that hearing.
When was that? My lawyer went to Canton, and you know, I got paperwork here in regards to that.
I'd be happy to meet and talk with you. I mean, I'm just speaking for myself. I mean, if you have a plan in place and there's a potential to remediate that property, that's good, but we've gone so far through the legal process to the point where we went to Supreme Court and they ruled in our favor for us to proceed because there was nothing done with the property. And now you're coming in essentially at the 11th hour.
Well, my
It's a
lawyer
juggling act for us.
told me, you know, it is repairable. So, I mean, I wasn't gonna do it, but I didn't know when I was gonna get the money, and even the court date means probably a couple months down the road from there at least, before I get the money, the way they are. New York Central Mutual, you know, the Watertown Times, they had a reporter do a article in the paper. And most everything was accurate, except they forgot to leave out the company that's doing this. They've been sued 10 times with my lawyer, and he's won 9 out of 10 times. So that's the kind of company New York Central Mutual is. And God forbid anybody has to go through what I've been through. I have to live in a camper in my driveway, 24-footer. I do my showers at the gym when I'm done working out every day. I have to order food out. I can't even cook most of the time.
Trustees, any questions? If you could, at your earliest convenience, maybe stop at the office, and if I'm not there, speak with Monique, and she can make copies of the documents. I mean,
I can leave them and pick them up sometime, because
that'd be fine.
okay.
That'd be fine. But I just want to make sure you understand, I mean, we're to the point where we're considering demolition.
I know, that's why he told me that yesterday. I thought it wouldn't happen until next year, and maybe the court would come up before that, but he told me we're looking at doing it right away. That's why I'm here. Because I have a business I run out of there too, trucking business.
Okay, thank you, sir. Economic Development, Mr. Oppold, Mr. Wood.
Good night.
Thank you.
Maybe next time.
Fire Committee, Mr. Carville, Mr. Lepere. Gentlemen, I sent you
So I
an
can just pick
email.
that up anytime?
I sent you an email regarding a request by the volunteers, the process by which we're going to have the floor evaluated, the ceiling tile has to be removed. They have their annual banquet coming up in about 5 weeks. So they want to know if it's a problem delaying that work until after the banquet, so their hall's available for that or not.
Yeah, I go back to the most recent engineering report, I believe indicates that it's only going to parking above, but that is safe underneath, so.
Well, they also have, the Hall of Fame has their banquet after they have their ceremony at the high school, and all go down to the fire station too, downstairs, right? That's coming up the 18th of September.
Yes, so it'll be fine.
Yeah,
be fine, too.
should be all right.
It'll be good, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Thank you. Mr. Fayad, you got that right?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Personnel Committee, Mr. Carvel, Mr. DeShays. Police Committee, Mr. Carvel, Mr. DeShays.
Old business, a couple items there.
Chief, anything else?
No, just the business.
Recreation Commission, Mr. DeShays.
We haven't met, we'll meet next week, it's also the second week of the month, second Tuesday.
Street Committee, Mr. Uphold, Mr. Levere.
Nothing to report.
Water and Sewer Committee, Mr. Uphold, Mr. Levere.
Nothing to report.
Initial public comment period, as always. As people stand, please state your name and your address for the record. Initial public comment period. Hearing none, moving on to old business. We have 2 police officer appointments. Chief?
With an employee resigning and then another one retiring, we left 2 positions open. I spoke to the committee about it. Both spots are budgeted, and they were actually budgeted at higher wages than what we'll be paying now. Fair to put those 2 in will result in higher overtime costs, which are already high enough as it is. So it's a win-win situation for the one to retire and the other one that resigned and moved on. We'll be getting police officers. The 2 names I presented were interviewed. The interview committee was there. One currently is already trained. He works part-time for the Norwood Police Department. The second one we will have to send to the academy. They were both 2 of the top 3 in the county list. So I encourage the board to appoint these 2 officers tonight. Buckle being starting 7th, I believe, and Mr. McDowell with 13th.
We'll take these one at a time. Recommendation to appoint Brandon H. Puckle, the starting date of September 7th, 2015.
Second.
Mr. Carvel, Mr. Levere. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The second recommendation to hire Dustin M. McDowell, the starting date of 9/14/2015.
So moved.
Mr. Carvel, Mr. DeShays. Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. New business, discussion on strategic plan. I just wanted to give you an update as to where we are. You notice on the table back there are some of the plans that we dug out in recent months, thanks to Eddie and Monique. We have a 1998 comprehensive plan over there, a 2001 Grass River Revitalization Program plan, a 2005 Strategic Revitalization Plan, a 2009 Water Street Grass River Corridor Area Strategic Plan, say that fast once, and a 2013-14 proposal for revitalization of Massena, which was a study done by Clarkson University sophomore honor students. So we have a number of plans over there. Many of them are dated. The concept of developing our waterfront is mentioned in every single one, some more than others. Very soon we'll have the economic development study that's a result of the NIPA relicensing and the McKinsey study group, which will be a good roadmap for economic success here in the North Country and in St. Lawrence County. So now the question is, how do we go forth? And we've spoken a lot in recent months about regionalizing our efforts, working with our partners at every level to reinvent Northern New York, and that's ongoing. And taking a number of the concepts that are in these plans and trying to bring them under basically one plan, so that we can figure out how we're going to develop the waterfront, incorporate things from the McKinsey study in that would be just unique to the Massena area and all the other things that we're working on. So I was asked this morning, you know, why a strategic plan versus a comprehensive plan? Because a comprehensive plan is a 10 or a 20-year plan. It kind of gives us a general concept, where a strategic plan takes specific things and puts them, you know, these are the things we're going to work on, here's the action plan, here's the timetable for getting those things done. So, and the advantage to a strategic plan is because of the nature of government, particularly local government. As boards change, as people in the mayor's office change, skills, talents, priorities, they all change. Where a strategic plan, you know, we can put a strategic plan into place 3 to 6 months at the most probably, and we can execute, let's say, 3 or 4 ideas and have a success and accomplish those in a relatively short period of time, given if we have the resources, as opposed to an overarching comprehensive plan that requires so many other things. So some things that have been ongoing for the last several months to update is obviously identifying the stakeholders and bringing them together in the community. So those are citizens, business leaders, it could be organizations, faith-based groups, 501c3s, government, obviously, those types of things. And then the various things that are going to be required to put that thing in place. We've already created a community services board, which we brought many of the 501c3s together and the service clubs and the faith-based organizations that are serving members of the community in various capacities. Met with our grant writer with them, and we're trying to identify funding sources, and we're trying again to regionalize the effort and get people working on the same page instead of everyone working individually. I met last week with the BDC director and the chamber director to brainstorm some ideas. I have a number of ideas where there can be some collaboration. Again, we're trying to eliminate everyone working on their own things or working in their own silos. We're trying to, what's the common vision? What's the strategic plan for the community and the region, and how do we all use our resources to make sure that we're accomplishing those things? We're working on the creation of a leadership council, which will be business leaders and other leaders in the community to come together. What are your needs for your business to continue to be success? Because it's important. We talk about bringing in new business into our community, but we have to make sure that we're keeping the businesses that we have. How do we help them thrive? How do we help them maintain what they have? And then, of course, hopefully develop more opportunities for them. So again, it's about working collaboratively, and over the next few weeks I'll be reaching out to you to update you, and as we reach out to further people in the community to try to develop a specific strategic plan for this community, hopefully combining a number of things that we've already looked at that. So, if you have any questions on that, pretty straightforward.
What's the status of the McKinsey survey for study?
It has moved around. It moved very nicely. I want to be careful because a lot of it at this point is still confidential and private, but I am very pleased at the progress. I would suspect you'll be seeing something very soon in its final format.
Before the end of this year?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. We've approved several things already, so we're.
It can't be confidential if things have been approved, right?
What's that?
It can't be too confidential if things have been approved.
Well, the advisory board has tweaked things and looked at it, so it's not in its final format. Obviously, some of that stuff won't be released publicly anyways, because we don't want to give that to other regions. So, but yeah, you'll be hearing something very soon from
Who
them.
monitors the status of the study?
The advisory board.
Who's on the advisory? You are, I hope?
I'm on it, town supervisor, Mayor Waddington, the river communities, the county's represented, there's business representatives on there. It's a broad array of people.
Perfect, thank you.
Moving on to 7B, proposed resolution authorized to execute St. Lawrence County Snow and Ice Control Agreement. Hassan.
Yeah, this is an annual agreement that we've had in existence for state roadways here in the road. We have about 5.5 miles of state roadways. Yeah, it's an annual agreement to plow and also to spread salt when needed. We do not spread any sand because they don't want sand on their roadways, but nonetheless, it's an annual agreement with them. All, pretty much 95% of the communities in the county have this snow and ice control agreement with the county and the state. So
So moved.
Mr. Otto?
Second.
Second by Mr. Revere. Discussion? Resolution. Mr. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Cardinal? Mr. DeShays?
Aye.
Mr. Revere?
Aye.
Resolution carries. We have a proposed resolution authorize agreement with Onondaga County for the Reiki system access for live scan. I don't think it was on the agenda, but
I didn't, but I can explain it. The live scanner Ricky system is what we use to fingerprint people. It goes live to a database now instead of sending in cards, hoping that they meet approval and then get sent back. It also allows us to, we used it last week for the purpose to, we had a subject who said he was one name, and we knew he was lying, and we ran his fingerprints, and within 10 minutes we knew who he was based on prior arrest of what his real name is. Saves us a lot of time, a lot of money. If we manually fingerprint somebody, we have to do 3 sets of cards, which takes the officer about a half hour or so. With this, we can do one. It tells you right then if it's approved or not. If not, which fingers you have to reapprove it. It takes a matter of 10 minutes. It's an agreement with Onondaga. They house a system just because they are our regional hub. If we were saying Malone, it would be all would be the regional hub. Our regional is with Onondaga. It's an annual agreement that we always have.
So $1,000, right? They charge $1,000 a year for this?
Yes.
Yeah. And we've been doing it quite a while now?
Yes, quite a while now.
yeah, this is our 6th year.
It well saves us just time on doing that.
Yeah.
And it also allows us to pull up mug shots of other departments. Say we have a suspect that doesn't live in our community but lives in another, but he's been arrested there, not here. Instead of us having to drive and get it or wait for it to be mailed, instantly we can access their database and their photos there for a photo array.
Money well spent.
It is money well spent.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Otto, Mr. Revere. Discussion? Resolution, full individually. Mr. Otto? Mr. Cardinal? Mr. DeShays?
Aye.
Mr. Revere?
Aye.
Resolution carries. We have a proposed resolution, Parker Avenue Bridge. Mr. Fayad and I went down to DOT in Watertown last week, so I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Fayad.
We met with DOT in regards to their project, encompasses the Park Avenue Bridge, but also encapsulates the Center Street extension, Center Street area, going from Willow Street down to Park Avenue. So they're going to be paving, maintaining that section of roadway as well. Much like the 37B project that occurred back in 2008, 2009, what they are suggesting is, and even a warning is, to replace the infrastructure in that work zone so that, and we've experienced some issues with that. So when we upgraded the Maple Street and East Orbis Street roadways, actually, when the state did that, the village had enough foresight to replace the infrastructure in those 2 sections of roads. And we ended up bonding for it over a period of 20 years. Now, the same scenario is going to occur on the Center Street extension there as well, going from Willow to Park. There are 3 components that we were looking at down there, one being the water infrastructure to replace the water line, the other one being the sewer, wastewater in that whole section. And then the 3rd component is the box culvert, which is located on the Center Street, that's correct, right there in that portion of it that crosses 37D, which is the Maple Street extension. That is owned and maintained by state DOT. The portion that crosses the village roadway, however, they're claiming that we have to take care of that. That is in very tough shape. You can crawl into it and take a look at it.
Take your word for it.
We have discussed some issues, but it's a big box culvert. You can walk in and see the damage that's in there. Anyway, so what we were looking at is replacing all the infrastructure in that work zone. So they did a preliminary evaluation or estimate on based on what we did, what we want. And they're looking at the rough preliminary village to replace the sanitary, they're up 614,000 just for the sanitary in that area is very deep, it's 11 to 12 feet deep. And then the box culvert is $292,000. So they're looking for, the deadline of their project for the design is in October for the bridge project and the outlying infrastructure. They're going to let their project, let it out for competitive bidding February 4th in 2016. So if we happen to go the direction that they, for them to do, include our work in their project, they're gonna need a check from us by mid-February. However, looking at what we're doing currently over the last week, and we're gonna continue to complete it, we started televising that sewer line, starting at Willow and working our way to the west, going towards Park. We've gotten to past Whiten at this point, and we've noticed a lot of fatigue, and there's a lot of grease in that line and whatnot. The grease is not, doesn't concern me as much as the structural integrity of the pipe itself. So we're gonna continue that process until we've exhausted it all the way to the end, then I'll have a better report for you. But, in essence, we are also looking at the other option, which would be the village of Massena to have that replaced instead of including it in their project. So therefore, we don't have to comply with all the requirements that they would have to comply with, for instance, the WBE, the MBE supports, because there's no state funds that we're using.
Which is less expensive. And that part confused me.
The W.
Like if we did it, I mean, obviously we want to do it before they put all the infrastructure, all the roads in, right? And then we'll dig it up and then put sewer in.
That's gonna be quite a while before they get that done. They're gonna let their project, the bridge project, be executed.
Okay.
They probably will not begin until March or April, actually probably April, May of 2016.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll have that replaced before then, if we do the job, if we contract the job to do it, subcontract it out.
I don't know.
On our own.
Could we beat the 1.16 million if we did it on our own? I mean, that's my obvious question, right? If I did my math right. 1.16.
I'm hoping that their estimates is very liberal, very up there.
Okay.
That's what I'm hoping for.
And they had admitted to such as that they tend to shoot high.
Yeah.
They don't like surprises. They
Well,
certainly don't.
We come back with more information, is that what you're thinking, or do you need something? What do you need from us then?
Well, if we don't do it, if we don't contract the project ourselves,
Yeah.
we're gonna allow them to contract the project.
Yeah.
We're gonna need some type of resolution to allow that to happen. That's what their timeframe is.
All right, what tonight we're looking to do is just to proceed with the first step, which would be with DOT to include that scope of the project in their design phase so that when they release it, we're not obligated to proceed. Should it comes in high, we can say no.
Okay.
But at some point, we'll have to make a decision and start putting it, if you're so inclined to do that, we're gonna have to start putting some bonding resolutions in place of up to a certain amount as we go forward. So, but they needed a resolution from us to take that first step so they don't waste their resources in preparing the design phase for that.
So what we do, refresh my memory, because it was before me, up on Maple Street, when all that work was done by the DOT, it was all incorporated, they did it all? And what was did it seem, I don't know how to phrase this without offending anybody, but was it good for the village, or could we have done it better and differently? Did it work out okay for us?
It did work out okay. Certainly, working with that, because the contractor was working in our work zone.
Okay.
Here, you got the contractor, pretty much the contractor that's gonna hire for this project, primarily is a structures guy, right? The structural construction company
Right.
for the bridge process. What he's gonna end up doing is subcontracting the work out for the water and sewer.
Okay.
Right, so they're gonna elevate their cost, right? So when you also have your requirements for the W and MBD, which is at least 20% of the project cost.
That's supposed to save money, that cost money.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But 20% of that project has got to go to a W and MBE if it's funded by the state.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you're on the right track. You're coming, to get more information.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea to go ahead and at least have them include this in, and then you can, see if they come back with it, and you can make a more informed decision. I mean, also you'd be working in parallel anyway, right?
Right.
Okay. How old is all this infrastructure there? Like, at the time that the Parker Avenue Bridge went up, or is it before that? Like that whole, I mean, is that when the Seaway was coming through and they built that bridge over and
I
whatnot?
would suspect that.
Okay. Good.
Further questions?
Sure, good idea to move forward tonight, but the other option.
So this doesn't commit us to anything, because we want to allow them to.
It just starts the
Give us an
process of,
estimate of what they
so
would-
DOT can use their resources for the design phase to get some estimates, to get the bid specifications. Entertain a motion.
So,
Mr. Otto, second by Mr. Revere. Further discussion. Resolution, poll individual, Mr. Otto, Mr. Carvel, Mr. Shays,
Aye.
Mr. Revere. Resolution carries. Negotiator. As you know, all of our collective bargaining agreements expire in May 31st of next year. 4 years ago, this was your preference to RFP this, to get professional services. The way this is written, it would separate the management and office staff and recreation into a separate proposal. So you can decide to do both that way or do it.
yeah, so
Mr. Offal, second by Mr. Revere. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have resignation, James R. Davian from Village of Massena Planning Board.
So
Mr. Offal, second by Mr. Deshays. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Voucher warrants.
I move that the voucher signed by trustee Carvel and myself be approved.
Second by Mr. Carvel. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to the reports you have on your table. Communications and correspondence. You have a proclamation recognizing September 17th through the 23rd, 2015 as Constitution Week. Authorize me to sign the proclamation.
So moved.
Mr. Othel, second by Mr. Carvel. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any other communications correspondence from trustees?
Seeing we have an article regarding vacant properties that was sent in by a resident.
Did you have a chance to read that? Pretty interesting. Yeah, pretty interesting.
I should have asked this, Mark, I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but the article I read in the paper about the district attorney's office not, they're not well equipped enough, or don't have enough manpower to cover the local courts. Is that having any effect on us locally here?
The effect that'll have on us is our guys, which we've been doing pretty much anyways, have to prosecute our own cases for traffic violations. I see the court getting backlogged, not so much affecting my department, but affecting the court's calendar, because with the DA here as it is now, a lot of cases are pled or meant before they actually go into court. With the DA being here, if somebody had a traffic ticket, they've never had one before, they were able to to reach an agreement to a lesser charge, and that's going to be lost now. So you're gonna see people adjourning cases or pleading not guilty and taking things to trial because that ADA will not be here to offer them the reduction.
Have you seen that already?
No, because it has not happened yet.
Okay.
It'll start this month, will be the month that it'll start.
Okay.
And then, you know, in years past, it didn't have that when there wasn't ADAs here. So you will start seeing a backlog in the court, and I'm sure you're speaking to the justice system will agree with that assumption.
One of the concerns I would have is that if we had an officer on overtime go into the court building and not have somebody there, then we've wasted resources. We've really wasted people's time and our money.
If that happens, but that won't be caused by this.
Okay, all right.
Usually happens when the defendant doesn't show up and it has to be adjourned.
Bring up a valid point, the time, I think, for the county legislature to start really looking at the overall local court system in this county, which is massive. And it's time to look at some form of consolidation or potentially district courts.
My bigger concern is if they cancel the sheriff's road patrol will be a burden to my department.
Because is that transport of?
Transport of prisoners, they assist us on other things all the time. It'll be a burden. It'll be tying my officers up on transports for hours compared to them just coming through and picking somebody up.
There's a business for it.
Anything else from the trustees?
Thanks, man.
Closing public comment period. As always, ask you to stand, state your name.
I just have a question on your bridge.
Sure.
Which option did you, or is going to be put in?
Alternative D was chosen. It's a two-lane bridge. It's going to be a turnabout in front of Blevins Motors. So that's the Parker Avenue Bridge coming across. There'll be a turnabout. You'll go this way to Willow Street. You'll go this way to downtown. The current structure that goes underneath the bridge will just
Pluses, if you want to call it that. But I personally, I don't care. I know other people will care one way or another. The other question I have, you're going immediately, has it been done before for the collective bargaining negotiator? I think I know it's been done in the past, negotiators come in, but the village board has attempted to reach an agreement with the bargaining units, and then if you can't, then the negotiator has been brought in. You're going right to the negotiator right now, is that your?
Well, this is the RFP to hear proposals what someone would charge us, and then the board would make a determination whether or not they will hire someone to come in and do that or not, and at what point.
Is that for all three bargaining units?
There's two separate, this RFP requests two proposals. One would be for the three collective bargaining agreements, so CSEA, fire, and police. And then a separate proposal which would be for recreation employees, office staff, and management staff. So it would be two separate ones, so they could accept both, they could accept one, they could accept none. Further public comment or questions?
Another comment on this proposal on here, Tim, is, if I remember right, my memory may be fuzzy, because this is quite a few years ago, but they talked about the area under the bridge, that would be ours now. And we could, the village of Massena would have access to all that water frontage. I remember that.
That's correct. That's on the table.
Okay.
Once they declare it as surplus property, we would have the first opportunity.
Yeah.
We told them tentatively we'd be very interested in that.
They're extremely. Yeah, I mean, we buy it for $1 or something. That's what I was thinking. I don't know if they.
We actually tried to trade them the culvert for that property. They wouldn't do it.
They must have been on their A game.
They were.
Just
One of the things
pull the dam in on, or see what it comes out.
Mr. Mayor, just one other thing.
Sure.
You talk about waterfront revision and building it up, and everybody's tried to do that. But it's like trying to take a bath without a plunger to stop the water, so you can have water to take a bath. Without that dam, How are you gonna do it?
That's a fair point.
I mean, there's gotta be a way to stop the water, so you can invest in doing that. And everybody that's sat in that seat has said the same thing, and the board also. I don't know, it's a hard nut to crack.
I hear you. I hear you.
Go fishing again.
Further public comment?
Just a question. Earlier you talked about banquets were going to proceed in the fire hall. There was the Hall of Fame banquet, and what was the other one you mentioned?
The fire department's annual banquet,
Ah.
which happens, it culminates their fire prevention week in October.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, how much did the village spend last time?
I'll answer that. Should find that out for you. And even though you didn't ask, it was a budgeted expense. I did include it in my proposed budget.
Was it included in the budget?
Yes.
It's like Jeopardy.
What's that?
It's like Jeopardy.
Other questions?
I've got one more question.
Sure.
Sorry, guys. What are the salaries for the 2 police officers?
Chief, starting
I
salary?
don't know off the top of my head.
And which one is currently with Norwood? You just mentioned one was with Norwood and one needs training.
Mr. Huckle.
Buckles with them.
Yes.
And those were September dates you said for the study?
Yeah.
Or October?
September. If you wanted to call me tomorrow, maybe I'll have those.
Great, yeah, I can run.
Other comment or questions? We do have a need for a short executive session. One is over litigation, the other is over personnel. I do not expect that we will take action. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Alveld?
Second?
Second, Mr. Mache's. All those in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.
Where'd Francis go? I'm gonna take